Hello again, this is John, and this time we have a Bernina model 730 record. I guess in the manual they call it a Bernina Record 730. So it does straight and zigzags, and then it has 20 patterns that are selectable on the top here with this lever. On the front we have the needle position, center, left, a little bit over from left, center, and then right. So it has two positions on the left side, one far left, one halfway between, and then centered, and then the right position. And this bottom lever is the zigzag width from 0 to 4. As I said earlier, this is the lever to select the different patterns. It's on 0 now, and then this other little lever selects between the 0 position, which is straight and zigzag, and then 1 through 20 is selected like this. This is the stitch length, and this is to drop the feed dogs for darning. And this upper lever on the side is for buttonholes. I'll get to these things later on, but for right now we'll just go through the normal things. We'll flip it around, and on the side here is the bobbin winder. This little arm flips out, thread comes off the spool in the back around here and over to the bobbin, and then this lever engages it onto the flywheel. This top cover also hinges up to access oiling inside. These are the 20 different decorative stitches that it has, and these are steel cams. The majority of this stuff in here is steel. It's got steel gears over here. The gear that drives the cams appears to be nylon, but that doesn't have a lot of stress on it. This little window tells us where we are in where in the pattern it is. It has two diamonds and then a line between the two diamonds. That switches from side to side. See, now when that line is directly in the center, that's the start of the new pattern. So if you want to have diamonds or whatever up here, you start it in the center, and then that goes from side to side. Now it's at the center of the pattern, now it's at the end of the pattern, center of the pattern again, and back to the end of the pattern. And this other little knob up here is to adjust the upper thread tension. So why don't we go ahead and thread this machine. There's a little hook on the back side, comes through this trough, down, hooks onto this. This is the check spring that's inside this little arm here. Come up and hook through, come down, hook around this lever poking out the side, and through the needle. have a pretty small needle in here. Barely big enough to get this needle threader through. Well, the first thing we'll do is try to sew several layers of denim. There's 2 layers, there's 4 layers of denim. And we're doing a normal straight stitch. The thread broke because I think it was because I was using too small of a needle. I changed the needle to a jeans type of needle. We'll just go along the bottom here. Hold things together a little bit. And now we will try the different cams. I won't have room to do everything. Okay, now we'll try one of the stitches that fills in a little bit more. So we'll shorten up the stitch length. And it appears that my upper tension is just a little bit too tight. The red thread on the bottom is pulling through a little bit. So we'll loosen that up some. And we'll try, I don't know, that looks interesting. Now this machine also has 2 speeds. There's a switch along the back side where the power cord goes in, and it's up now, and if I switch it down it goes to low speed. So this is as fast as it goes on low speed. Quite a difference. That's if you want to do very careful stitching. Next thing we'll try is a buttonhole. Now to do buttonholes you will use the width lever, the left center right dial, the stitch length lever, and this little lever off to the side. And you need to remember to have this lever set forward to the zigzag position, which is the same, which is using the 0 up here. So we'll still use our 4 layers of denim and try to put a buttonhole in. Okay, first thing we do, pull this lever a little bit forward and pull up. It's got a notch that it stays up. Second thing we do is pull this sleeve down. It clicks up and clicks down. And what that does, when it comes down, it has a pin behind it, and that centers between these 2 posts that poke out. So it only has limited range when it's down. So that's the second thing we do. Third thing we do is lift this up until it stops. And the fourth thing is we turn the left center right needle position dial until it lines up with this white mark on the zigzag lever. So push this up, pull this down, push that up, twist that over, and make sure you're on zigzag. So first thing it does the left side and it runs backwards. For as long as you want, and when you're done with that, you flip this until it stops. That positions this at 0 and puts a zigzag to full width almost, and so it does the back pattern. Do a couple of stitches there, and then we flip this back to the right, and now it'll do the right side and come forward. And at the end we flip it over again to do a finishing stitch. And I think I ran a little too long on the one side. I did. But in essence, that's how you do it, and once you get good at it, you'll be able to do it without stopping. So we'll give it a try without stopping. Okay, that's up, flip that over, that up, that all the way over. And here we go. And I can see that I'm widening it up a little bit. I'm not paying much attention to how this is going through, but it did a pretty good job even without me having much practice doing buttonholes. The last thing I want to show is these two, the knob here, this small knob, and this little lever on the side. They are for doing satin stitch. So I've taken the buttonhole lever down. That allows the stitch length lever to go all the way up. That's what this does. When this lever is up, it doesn't allow this to go up very far. That controls the stitch length doing your buttonholes. So when this is down, you have full range again. So if we flip this lever up to do satin stitch, then this knob comes into play. This knob is set 1 to 5, so I have it set to 1 now. The lever's up, and the stitch length lever goes practically to 0. So that means it'll have a very small or very tight, very close stitch length. Almost nothing. So if I run it too much, it's just going to put a big bunch of a thread bunch underneath the foot. It moves very little that you'll just bunch it up and it won't go anywhere. So then if we turn this up a little bit, I'll have it to 2. Now this allows the stitch length lever, it can go almost to 0 but not quite. And so if I turn it all the way to 5, it stops it down even further. So 5 is furthest away from the 0 mark. And then if I turn it down to 1 or 2, that lever has to stay up. It stays closer to 0. So I'll start at 2. And it's a very tight satin stitch. If I go to 5, it moves this lever down a little bit. Of course I can go further, but it has a stop here. So you can see that the 5 is a wider stitch than the 2. And let's pull it out of the machine, and you can see this is a very tight satin stitch. That was number 2. Actually, number 1 was the first 1/8 of an inch, but then number 2, and then the last part is number 5. So that's what these two items do over on the side here. And I believe I've covered pretty much everything on the machine. I just want to show what the foot pedal looks like. Now that's a foot pedal if I ever saw one. You can put both feet on that, but it's kind of an interesting green color, and it has all the original cords and plugs. This foot pedal unplugs from the side, has 2 small prongs that plug in, and then the power cord plugs into the back. Well, I think we're done. Again, this is a Bernina Record model 730. Thank you for watching.